All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live!
They want it. They want it.
Yeah, when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. You go get it.
That's the difference here right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
He'll get handled when he gets handled.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Do it live!
Let's go.
You gotta fight for your right to party!
Let's go!
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Thursday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, before you forget, make sure you click or tap that like and click or tap that subscribe button. Maybe turn on those notifications so we don't miss you when we go live. Maybe tell some Chiefs fans, friends, family members. Help spread the word. We'd sure appreciate it. We got a good show lined up for everybody tonight. The Chiefs back to 2-2. Chiefs are looking like we're back. Whipping up on the Ravens, sending them into a tailspin. We'll talk the Chargers loss. Now all of a sudden, the Chiefs are just a game back in the division. What a difference a week makes. So we're going to break it down. We're going to look ahead to the Monday Night Football contest against the Jacksonville Jaguars as the Chiefs try to get above 500. Looks like folks in the chat are starting to fill up. I think I saw Maria and Laney and John C. I think Big Doug will probably be in there if he's not already. Make sure if you want to ask a question or if you got a comment, make sure you throw something up in the chat. Before we get into the show, no Bo tonight. He's traveling.
No
Nick, how are you doing, man?
Good, dude. We got a new helmet throw clip that we can add to our intro. We got a couple of them, actually. I think he threw his helmet about 4 times, Lamar did. So I'm doing good, man. Chiefs rolled, and it's been a good week. How about you?
Doing real well. Yeah, I get that winning is more fun than losing. And, you know, the Ravens have, what was it, about 4 minutes left in that week 1 game where they were whipping up on the Bills? If you would have told a Ravens fan, y'all about to go 1-3 from here, they probably would have, no one would have believed you. But yeah, they're in a tailspin, and the Chiefs they whipped up on them. They sent them out of town with their tail tucked between their legs, right, slinking out of town. I know how you felt watching the game. I was sitting there watching it with you, but tell the viewing audience at home just overall thoughts about that big win against the Ravens. Felt good, didn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it's just been a long time since we had a decisive victory. Do what?
I said a long time.
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, so just a long time since they've had a decisive victory where kind of every facet of the game went how you want it to as a player and as a fan. I put fan of scoring more than 30 points. I'm definitely on board with the Chiefs having explosive offensive plays. It just felt like the Chiefs were actually able to do the things that they've been trying to do, and having Worthy and Thornton out there on the field at the same time seemed to open some things up, man. And then Spags defense, they just own the Ravens. I mean, there's just no other way to describe it. This league cannot stop that offense. And I said it last week on the show, man, but for whatever reason that the Chiefs, they're like, wow, that shit's easy. Right. And so they're able to just shut them down pretty consistently. And it was good on full display. And it was good to see, man. It was a lot of fun to watch that game.
Yeah, it started. I mean, other than that first drive, right, where the Ravens just kind of ran the ball right down the field, marched down the field, scored the opening touchdown. We put out on Chiefs Kingdom Live. There's Bloody Grass. Good to see you, Chief. Hope you're doing well. I was like, is it a good idea to just defer like regardless, like that's just like, it doesn't matter who we're playing or the situation, or if the offense or defense has been playing better, just to automatically give the other team the ball first. Do we maybe want to jump out on the Ravens with their struggling defense and get the lead? There's a stat out there that teams that score first in the NFL win. I was one of those ones. It was like 60 something or close to 70% of the games. The Ravens, they score that touchdown drive early. It's looking like, this could be maybe a long day. But after that, the Ravens really did not do anything offensively. The Chiefs went on a tear. And, if you take away the garbage time Justice Hill 80-yard touchdown run or whatever it was, Chiefs basically went on, a 37-3 run or something. It was pretty insane.
Right.
So, yeah, just a lot of fun. Comfortable, easy win. Got a little bit nervous maybe when Butker missed the field goal going into half, and the Ravens got the ball and went down. And instead of being up 23-7 at that point, now you're 20-10. But they came out in the second half and scored right away and just continued to add and pile on. Nick, you mentioned, we'll talk about the defense, man. Spags, you're right. They've got the Ravens number. And for a team that wins, seems like just about every other game they play other than the Chiefs, I don't know how their teams haven't been able to see what the Chiefs do or try to copy that formula. Maybe they don't have the personnel. Maybe they don't have the coaching. Lamar Jackson is obviously a very talented player, multiple-time MVP. But what is it you think, and just how dominant was that defensive performance by the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think that part of it is just they've played each other a lot, and the Chiefs have won so many times that I think now it's kind of like when we went down the third game against the Bengals. It's all right, the Bengals are kind of in the Chiefs' heads maybe a little bit there, and it's not even really about the matchup anymore. It's about a mental game, and I think the Ravens are an order of magnitude beyond that with the Chiefs. You see them come out, they have a killer first drive and really first drive and a half, and then we force Lamar into a bad throw and we intercept the ball. But from there, it was just it's the Ravens just looked like they got away from what they were doing that was working on the defense. And I know that, we had some good stops and everything, but it's we just get them out of their game. And, I wonder if they're going in, they're all right, dude, this time it's the old SNL skit, right? We're all going to attack him at once, right? We're not going to go one at a time. And they're all right, we're going to run the ball. Derrick Henry is going to get the ball. And then all of a sudden, they're getting into halftime and they're throwing the ball. And, just that's not the game that you want to play, right? That's not how they win against the Chiefs. They've got to, enforce their identity, and they get out of it when they play the Chiefs. And it's interesting to see, because like you said, they just really, crush most of the other teams in this league. And even when they don't crush a team, the Bills, they put up a ton of points. I think they were averaging 35 or 37 points going into that game.
Highest scoring offense in the NFL so far.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see. And I think that's what really good defensive coordinators do, right? Is they figure out how to get you out of your game plan and into their game plan of what they want you to do. So, kudos to everybody on the defense for how they showed up and the game plan from the coaching staff.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Chiefs offense and how good they looked for the first time this season, really. But the defense, the Ravens offense was not injured, right? The Ravens offense was basically at full strength. We've talked about, and we'll talk about more here in a little bit. We talk about maybe Lamar Jackson and him leaving that game. Lamar, to me, has not looked as quick or elusive. Something seems a little bit different with him this year. But you mentioned the high-scoring offense. They were leading the league in points scored per game going into the game against the Chiefs. They had all of their weapons healthy, right? And for the Chiefs defense to just go in and shut them down and close the door on the way they did, just very, very impressive. I wonder how much of it is, you said like, we're going to follow our game plan and we're going to run the ball and we're going to do this, right? And then look, there's no secret that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, those are the other two guys that everybody compares to Mahomes. I think there's a little bit of a Lamar wants to go out there and prove he's on Patrick's level, and he wants to go out there and be the guy, right? That's going to lead him to victory. And they don't want to just sit there and run the ball and count maybe on their defense, which this year is probably a bad plan. But the Ravens, they've had a good defense. They've been known for their defense for 20 years now at this point, right? So I think there's an aspect of it too. It's like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens want to go out there and prove that, Lamar really did deserve these 2 MVPs as much as Patrick got his, and that he's on that level, and that he can go out there and outduel Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, he's just not on Patrick's level. He is not as good of a quarterback as Patrick Mahomes, especially not if he's slowed up and the rushing aspect of his game, right? That's a big threat. I feel like the Chiefs, they've kind of figured that out with the Ravens, and maybe other teams aren't disciplined to do it. I can't believe another team hasn't watched and seen what the Chiefs do, right? But they don't sell out and over pursue the guy. I know they blitzed a lot, but you were watching Leo Chanel, right? And Nick Bolton. They were leaving a guy in the middle of the field, just kind of watching him, and they don't let him get to the edge and really beat you. So, yeah, just another Spags masterclass. There's I think it was Chiefs, Jayhawks, Royals, if you're familiar with X, Chiefs Twitter, whatever you want to call that realm. He's put out a GIF of, it was like with the comment that was, the post said, Spags rolling up to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense, and it was Debo from Friday where he's like rolling up on the bike, right? So here it comes. Yeah, they've got their number, man. Patrick Mahomes 6-1 now, right? And the Chiefs are against the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. And the one win was a game that the Chiefs had in hand. Were up big early in the game. The Ravens made a little bit of a furious comeback, and the Chiefs had the ball with the time winding down. Basically, all they had to do was kick a game-winning field goal, and the game would have been over. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled the ball. The Ravens recover, kneeled out the clock. That's the one win that the Ravens have and that Lamar Jackson has head-to-head against the Chiefs. Just, I think it also, like, the Chiefs, it shows that the Ravens are definitely like one of the upper echelon teams in the NFL, but the Chiefs, the last 4 or 5 or 6 years, they've just been like even on another level, even above that, right?
Yeah. I just, it's another interesting thing about this series is that they always seem to get this matchup really early in the season. The Ravens do tend to, pick up speed as the season goes on, right up until they hit the postseason. But it's interesting to see how these two teams match up. And the Chiefs, dude, like when you're talking 5-1, 6-1 against an opponent, now you're talking like there's just not a lot of comparison between the two franchises. When they play each other, it's like it doesn't matter what you do against, middling teams. It matters what you do against the best competition. And you saw that the Chiefs, when they were in that position where the Bengals seemed like they had their number, the Chiefs were able to like overcome that, right? They were able to beat the Bengals in an AFC championship game, and the Bengals haven't beat them since. And so I think that some of that is, how the focus and the leadership of the team and the will of the team. And I think that like, that's really the great separator there is. I just think that like Patrick just has like, I think he's a better leader and he has a better overall mentality of how he approaches the game. And I think that like, they've dealt with a lot of adversity as a team. And I think that like allows Patrick to be like more mentally tough, man. I don't want to, say too many bad things about, Lamar or the team, but I just think that that's where the Chiefs had the edge. Is it's like they know they can win. They know that like when things aren't going great, that they don't panic. And they don't give up. They just like you saw like people were saying Lamar gave up in this game, and I don't know if he was hurt or how bad the injury was, or if he just kind of tapped out and he was kind of hurt, but he's like, I'm not going to continue to maybe make this worse. But like, I mean, Patrick was getting his ass kicked in the Super Bowl by the Eagles, like in front of like vastly more people, right, on the biggest stage in the sport. Dude kept going out there and firing and kept trying like every play, right? And so I feel like that's the edge, man. I think that's the real difference maker there, and that's why Mahomes has 3 Super Bowls and Lamar doesn't.
It feels like, even though the Ravens, they're like right up here towards the top of the NFL, it feels like the Chiefs are like right there, right? Like they're like on like a dynasty level. If that's a thing, but yeah, I know it was a huge win. The defense, really, aside from the game against the Chargers in Week 1, they've played really, really well and been one of the better defenses in the NFL. We'll kind of talk about maybe where that puts them after we kind of talk about the rest of this game and when they play Jaguars, and maybe where we think the Chiefs are at after getting back to the 2-2 record here for the season. But yeah, man, it's just like the big brother, little brother thing. And the Ravens got to be frustrating to get smoked like that. Chiefs offense, man, came alive, right? Xavier Worthy.
Oh.
How big of a difference did that guy make? And was it even more of a difference than you anticipated or hoped for on offense and their ability to score points? They were a missed Butker field goal away from scoring 40 in this game, right?
Yeah, definitely the offense looked better than I had hoped. I know the Ravens defense is pretty banged up. But look, there's no excuses in the NFL. The Chiefs offense didn't get, any any credit their way with their injuries and suspensions that they've been dealing with. And so,
right.
Xavier Worthy's impact on the game is huge, especially now that we've got him and Thornton, Tyquan Thornton, like seems to be emerging as a deep threat. And it's just like that like really opens up a lot of things that they can do in the offense. And you can tell that Patrick is just like been waiting for these opportunities to throw the ball down the field. And it was really interesting to see. I was surprised at his productivity. I was also surprised. I mean, even like late in the game when it was in hand, they were still, running plays with him. So that was encouraging. Like he wasn't like on a, pretty limited pitch count, it seemed. Even when they didn't really need him in the game, they had him in. And I think you and I were like, maybe Worthy shouldn't be in the game.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's good news. I think that's like they're not worried about chance of re-injury with the shoulder and all that, and they're just trying to get him as many reps as possible while they're out there. So super encouraging. Looks like he'd made a nice step up in his game from last year. He put a defender in the spin cycle on a route, and
that guy was.
And so that's not just being fast, right? Which is kind of what we were worried about when he came to the Chiefs. It's like, dude, just like another guy that runs a go route. Looks like he's really developing into a good pass catcher and an all around threat. So
yeah, he had the old Allen Iverson, man, ankle breaking moves on that one guy in that thing. I don't know if you're freezing up quite a bit on my end, and the audio was kind of like glitchy sound. I don't know if someone in the chat, if that's coming through on their end too, but if so, maybe, I don't know, try to jump out and jump back in. If you're in the chat here, if Nick's, or if that's
turning off and back on again,
that could just be that could just be on my end here. So, but yeah, man, Xavier Worthy, that guy's a dog, right? Listen, man, like that is separated shoulder. There's players that miss 4, 5, 6 weeks, long time with that injury. I know he suffered it at the beginning of the first game, so really, technically, he missed 3 games. But honestly, I mean, the guy missed like 2 games after the injury, right? To come back that quickly. And I was expecting, I knew he was going to help the offense. And you mentioned the Ravens defense being hurt a little bit. They had also given up a lot of points even before they got hurt, right? I mean, the Bills had kind of scored on them. The Lions were able to kind of take advantage of them. They sustained even more injuries during the game against the Chiefs on their defense. But Xavier Worthy, like I was expecting that they'll ease him back in, right? Maybe and get him. No, he came back in there and was making plays immediately and was running the ball. They were throwing him the ball. He was taking hits. It was like he didn't miss any time at all. Yeah, it didn't miss a beat. He just came right back in.
Yeah, he looked great
and looked really, really, really good. So for him to do that when the team really, really needed it, after the 0-2 start and being at 1-2 and facing a good Ravens team at home to avoid going to that 1-3, man, I just don't know that you can say enough about what that guy did and just how impressive it was to not only play that well, but after missing a few weeks and to come back that quickly from dude, separating your shoulder. I've never done it, but I mean, that's got to be one of the more painful, uncomfortable things, right, to do.
Yeah, especially when your job is to, move your arms everywhere to catch a ball, right?
Right, and get tackled, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not out blocking guys. You can't put someone on that side to help.
Use your hands at the line to try to not get chucked at the line. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So, yeah, man, hats off to that guy. I feel like you could look back at the end of the season and the Chiefs, if they win this division and can get back and get a good seed in the playoffs. I think you can look back to this game and Xavier Worthy toughing it out and just being a dog and coming back early and playing and helping the Chiefs win that big game against one of your top or supposed top AFC competitors to get back to 500. And it's even more important with the Chargers loss. We'll talk about that. So kudos to that guy, man. Give him all the credit in the world. He came back in a hurry. Andy Reid had said, he told him, hey, coach, I'm not going to come back in if I can't do everything, right? Like, if you don't put me on a snap count, don't take this away from me. Like, if I come back and play, I want to play. And the toughness that shows of that guy, man, is like I said, I don't know if you can say enough good things about him. Patrick Mahomes, we've talked about playing at an MVP level with the first few weeks of the season, right? Without having Rice, without having Worthy, without having any of a run game, leading the team in rushing, keeping the team in games that they maybe didn't have any business being in. That was his best performance of the year, man. He was slinging it. He was, you could tell he was in the groove, in the zone. I think is what they would say when you're playing just kind of out of your mind the way he was. A couple of those touchdowns, that pass to Juju in the end zone, man, was an absolute
laser
bullet in between 2 closing defenders.
Dude, I bet that hurt to catch that ball.
Yeah, I've often wondered it would be cool if you could just go out on a football field and just be all right, man, throw it as hard as you can at me just to see what that feels like or looks like to have the ball zipping in on you. 4 touchdowns. No turnovers, close to 300 yards. Easily could have had more than 300 yards, right? They were talking about, were they going to pull him with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter? And the Chiefs were running the ball in the last drive or two there, eating clock, just trying to get out of that game. Easily could have been a day where he had 350 or 375 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns. How good did he look, and how encouraging is it that you give him one of his toys back and he just goes out there and just dominates?
Yeah, you know how great a player is when they're playing and they have a little bit of a slump for a game or two maybe, and people are like, oh, they're done, and were they even really that good? It's that's
only Patrick that they do that to, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I just Tom Brady, like he was done every year too, right? Like they started out, they lost a couple of games, and then they turned it on. But I just respect the hell out of what Mahomes does. From like, he just never stops trying. He never quits. Like, and he, even when he's struggling with some deep passes this year, like he keeps firing the ball, and he figured it out. That pass to Juju was great. I'll say that, man, the pass to Kelsey where Mahomes is backpedaling was just a dime. It was a perfectly thrown ball, gave, Travis plenty of time to get underneath it, and was placed where only he could catch it. It was just like an all-timer, performance by Patrick. And, and it's against Lamar, who, like, that, like you say that Lamar wants to prove that he's on Patrick's level. Like, Patrick wants to prove that Lamar's not on his level. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that going on too. And the Chiefs really, the Chiefs could have put up 50 in this game. They took their foot off the gas. They had their backups in. Even with Mahomes in the game, like you said, they just kind of started, doing a vanilla run the ball offense. And Harbaugh at a certain point, they scored that touchdown, but they didn't go for two, and they weren't pushing it. And like, they were just like, yeah, dude, like waving the white flag. And you don't see that a lot in the NFL. But dude, it was really good to see Patrick just look like, the Mahomes that we remember. And so I'm excited and encouraged to see what this offense looks like with the continued development of Tyquan Thornton, and then with Rashee Rice coming back here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's going to look really, really good when Rashee Rice gets back. Tyquan Thornton had a somewhat quiet game, only one catch, but he capitalized, right, and made it, scored a touchdown. So getting into the end zone. Yeah, Patrick, I just reports of the Chiefs' demise may have been premature, right? And it's funny you say that, because everybody was like, oh, well, the Ravens defense was really beat up. But when the Chiefs are injured and missing guys and not at full strength, it's, are they done? And is it finished? And it's Chiefs fatigue, and it's, Chiefs derangement syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It exists. But, yeah, we talked about the beginning of the year. How many games do we think the Chiefs could score 30 points this year? And we did a poll on it, and we kind of, I think both of you or I were right there in that 8 to 9 game range. And it was like, listen, man, if they can like survive not having Rashee Rice, get a game or two before he comes back, so they get to that 30 mark, you got to think that they can get to 30 a lot easier once number 4 is back out there on the field to get to that 30-point mark, and to really just put a team away offensively. I think not only was it impressive and much needed with the spot that they were at playing at home, the 1-2 record, but it's got to give them a confidence boost. Patrick's saying, listen, I know it doesn't look like it, but we're close on offense, right? We're right there, and just got a few things that we need to get straightened out and execute, and we're almost there. To go ahead and basically put up 40 points before Rashee Rice even gets back. Is that a confidence booster? Does that have a carryover effect, maybe moving forward here?
Yeah, I mean, how could it not be a confidence boost, right? Big Doug here's asking, what do we see as Thornton's ceiling, and how do you rank our receiving core now? Rice is probably number 1 when he comes back, but where do they all rank? How would you put that group in order?
I mean, I think when Rashee Rice comes back, it'll be Rice, Worthy. I want to say Thornton maybe 3, but Juju has shown like he's got a role on this team, right? And he's had some big games and made some big catches. And I'm trying to think the game that they won against the Giants, right? I mean, he had some big plays in that game, and it's looking like he's got some juice and is able to, break tackles and get some separation, some yards after catch, which his knee supposedly has been a ticking time bomb for 3 or 4 seasons now.
It's a long fuse.
It's a long fuse on that. So, yeah, I would probably go Rice, Worthy, Juju, Thornton. 1, 2, 3, 4 there.
And then Brown after them.
Yeah. I mean, Hollywood Brown, I mean, he caught the touchdown and he had the big game week 1, but I feel like a big part of that was losing Worthy on the third play. And it's kind of like really like all they had, and they didn't really have much time to plan. To me, he's making the catches, but it's all really quick stuff to him.
Yeah.
And he's on pace for like 80 catches for like, it's like, can't remember what it was like, no yak, hardly at all. I mean, as soon as he catches the ball, he's going down. I might bump him up ahead of Thornton, but Thornton's shown the ability to like be a deep threat and get open down the field. Maybe Hollywood Brown shows that, but I don't think I'd put him in there. I still think I would go Rice, Worthy, Juju, Thornton. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Juju and Thornton would be tied for third. I don't know that you can say that one is better than the other. Juju obviously has a little bit more history with this team, but the deep playability that Thornton has showed in the few games he's played this season, the guy's getting open downfield
Regularly
every game. And so I think that like just does a lot for the offense. I love Juju. I love having him on the team. I remember when we first got him a few years ago, we were actually, at the game, and it was just like looking at him on the field, and I just like realized like how little like our receiving core had been, because like, oh shit, look at that guy. That guy looks like Travis Kelce out there. He's like just like a big bodied wide receiver was huge for us. He comes in clutch. But I think that just the big playability that Thornton's bringing to me probably edges him out over Juju, just because I think that's just the part of our game that's been missing, is that home run hitter. And so having, him in that role, and he also can get open in the end zone. So I know Juju caught a touchdown and he can get open too, but it's kind of like Thornton just seems like he's going to emerge and be a really solid player for us.
Yeah, looking good. Already has
more. Really had one catch in the game because I had him on fantasy, but
already has more touchdowns than Sky Moore.
Already,
the Chiefs
in 39 games. Yeah,
it's been a nice pickup by the Chiefs there, and he's been able to parlay that performance in training camp and some of the highlight reel stuff that he's shown. I feel like Juju can do a little bit more. You're seeing Juju like have a possession receiver role where he's getting open and moving the chains and catching 5, 6, 7, 8 passes. Thornton's kind of that like deep bomb guy, right? He's only going to get 2 or 3 catches, but they're big, and he's found a way to score and get in the end zone. So yeah, I mean they're close. I'm not saying that Juju's like light years ahead of Thornton, but I just feel like Juju's got a little bit more diversity to his game.
Yeah, he's got a little bit more in his bag. Yeah.
Right, than Thornton has. So,
well, if you're going to be a one-trick pony, if that trick is 50-yard touchdown or touchdown receptions, like I'll take it. So
that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good one. That's a good trick.
Yeah, he's got a role definitely on the team, and it's been a nice surprise and helped carry some of the slack in the absence of Worthy and Rice. So. You mentioned the defense of the Ravens being banged up, and how much of that do you put to the Chiefs' offensive performance? I mean, I don't put a lot in it because, look, like when you play a bad defense, you're supposed to score a lot of points, and they should have scored 40, and like you said, probably could have scored 50 if they wouldn't have taken their foot off the gas. When they played a bad defense and went out there and put up 29 points or 31 points. I mean, they had 40 and probably definitely should have had more.
Yeah, I don't put a ton of stock into it. The Ravens defense has been bad all year, and the Chiefs performed just as well against them as the other teams that the premier teams that they played.
Right.
So I mean, if you look at it, it's like I mean they scored basically on par with where the Bills and was it the Lions, right? The other team that played the Ravens and beat them. So I mean, there were no asterisks to those performances given, and
sure,
so I think that like that's what you should do, right? You should like score that against a bad defense that is injured, and so the Chiefs performed exactly how you'd expect a good offense to perform, and so I think you're going to see this continue. Are they going to score 40 points every week? No, but I think Chief Bloodygrass was in here earlier, and what did he say? He said if KC can score 28 points a game plus a game, like they won't lose, and he's probably right. I mean, the way that the defense is playing, if you can hit that 25 to 28 mark, like it's going to be curtains, So it's really encouraging, and I just look. These are all NFL teams, and like we still don't even have Rashee Rice. So like, okay, like. You guys are missing 7 starters now, which I know is huge, but like we also don't have our best wide receiver, and we still put up 37 on you, and that's because we took it light for like most of the fourth quarter. So, I think that's overblown, to be honest.
Definitely, I agree. I certainly agree. Real quick, kind of the only bad thing was Butker missed another long kick.
Yeah.
My concern level with him, we saw this earlier in his career where he struggled kind of begin the season. I want to say he had the injury, though, right, that in the week 1 game against Arizona that he kind of maybe rushed back from, or just like I was going to have to deal with the injury that wasn't something they could take care of during the season. You just have to push through it somehow. So missed a few games. They brought some backup guys in, but like I guess I'm at maybe like a 5 or 6 right now, concern level out of 10 with Butker. I definitely think the Chiefs need to be thinking get some more yards. If you're looking at a 55 or 56, 58-yard field goal, it's third down. I definitely think you need to be looking to pick up an extra 5 or 10 yards if you can there. How are you feeling about Butker? Do you think there's an injury thing? You think this is a technique thing? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Mahomes' deep ball. I think it's like you just sometimes you just gotta, push through the funk, and I think he's going to be okay. My concern level is closer to like a 3 or a 4 right now. If we see this trend continue for more than the next couple of games, then I'll start to worry. But until Butker shows that he's not making kicks when it truly matters for the team, then I'm not going to be that concerned. So
yeah, I don't know. He missed the extra point to tie the game against the Chargers week 1. I mean, he missed a chance to go up. What would have been 23-7 to 2 possession, right? I mean, to make that 16 or 17 point lead, and you miss it, and you give the Ravens a short field.
He also made a 59-yard field goal on like a fire drill. So
I understand that. That's why I'm not at a 10, but he's missed important kicks, man. It's not like he missed a couple really, really long field goals that we didn't really need that much. I mean, he's missed some kicks that were crucial that definitely like impacted the game. So I don't know that I want to like discount the effect it's had on the team and these games here, man. Like when you're struggling, and especially when you're having a hard time moving the ball, right? Like the Chiefs were in the first few games. Hopefully that maybe subsides. And again, I'm not saying that he's done. The Chiefs be looking to replace him, but there's a few of these kicks he's missed were big, and like the one in the Ravens game ended up not mattering. But I mean, a couple weeks against the Lions, man, if you got a chance to go up 23-7 rather than being 20-10, you need to be able to capitalize on that. So,
well, I think that no matter who your kicker is, trotting him out there multiple times per game for 50+ yard field goals is like, just bad business plan, right? I mean, I don't think you should be, just expecting your kicker to make 56-yard field goals like 2 to 3 times a game. I mean, I think that should be like a rare occurrence, and you got to get closer. To be honest, I mean, I know that like he's been able to
2 in a game though. I mean, it's like they've given an opportunity to kick some long ones, and I feel like he's just missed as many as he's made almost at this point across the entire season.
But I think he'll get out of the funk, man. I just think sometimes like there's just like he's not like there. Aside from one kick that was way off, like he's not off by that much. And I think he'll figure it out. That's why I'm not. I mean, I'm just not that concerned right now. But I mean, I could be wrong.
I'm not saying cut him.
Yeah, sure.
But it's definitely been it's definitely impacted the team and put him in some bad spots. And he's definitely missed some kicks that weren't just like bonus time, right? Like, oh, this isn't that important of a kick. Like a couple of them have been fairly significant, but like he's shown that he has the ability to be one of the best kickers in the league. He's getting a little bit of age on him, but he hasn't been around for like 10 or 15 years either at this point. So I don't know that he's injured. They haven't said anything like that. The coaching staff hasn't really said anything. He hasn't been listed on an injury report at all this year. So if it's a technique thing, you'd like to think that they can get that probably worked out. But it looks like Big Doug's agreeing with you. So we'll see. Yeah, you say that now until we're a couple weeks down the road playing the Lions and it's 35-35 and he's looking at or it's 35-32 or something and he's looking at a 57-yarder to win the game. I guarantee he can be a little more nervous than a 2 or a 3. But Butker's he has a good track record and he's gone through some dips, whether it was injury related or not. Seems like he's been able to work his way through it and come back. So definitely want to see him do that again. With the win, I mean, they get to 2-2. Jaguars, Monday Night Football on deck in Florida, prime time. How you feel about this game against the Jaguars, man? Confidence level.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I feel good right now with our odds against most of the teams in the AFC, right? I just think that like this is a team that we've played before, that we know. We haven't played them as much, but I mean, I just like I feel like the way that our defense is playing right now, and having our offensive tools back on the field, almost all of them. I think that just puts us in a really good spot, and we have the championship DNA, right? And we have the guys that know that they can go win. And so as long as we can really like control the run, and kind of keep them bottled up, I feel really good about our odds in this one.
Yeah, the running back Travis Etienne is having a little bit of a resurgent year here, and it has looked good, but. My confidence level's high. Listen, no one expected the Jaguars really to be 3-1. A lot of people didn't expect them to contend in that division, but a lot of people didn't expect the Colts to be as good as they are, and a lot of people didn't expect the Texans to be as bad as they've been. So, been a little bit of shake up there. Like the Chiefs coming into this game with the better head coach, the better quarterback, and the better defense. And when you got those three check marks right in your column, you should feel really good. You should be confident about the game. The Jaguars, to me, Trevor Lawrence has definitely not lived up to being. He was the first quarterback drafted in his class, right? Can't recall now if he was number 1 overall or not, but he really just has not lived up to expectations. They took him to the playoffs that one year where the Chiefs beat him. And Arrowhead, the anything is possible game, right? Chad Henne comes in, leads the long drive, and Patrick Mahomes had the ankle injury,
on a broken leg, and
comes back on a what they thought could have been a broken ankle, and is able to win the game. The Jaguars, man, they've like the key for me really is this is they're 3-1, but they're like on a record pace with turnovers created and turnover margin. Chiefs, man, take care of the ball. Don't give them extra possessions, right? Yeah. And the Chiefs have not been turning the ball over a lot this year. They've got the Patrick Mahomes had the interception, but that was the Travis Kelce tip in the end zone or at the goal line against the Eagles. Outside of that, the Chiefs have been doing a really good job of taking care of the ball. Started to get some turnovers here this last week against the Ravens. Leo Chanel had the incredible one-handed turnaround interception. I know the Ravens, Lamar Jackson had a fumble that was really caused by his own guy, but There's been some plays too, or some defenders. They got what was it? They had 2 interceptions against Russell Wilson and the Giants. So Chiefs been taking care of the ball, and the Chiefs defense has been getting the ball away from the other team. And I mean, outside of that advantage, right, where the Jaguars have been kind of dominating and turnover margin and stealing the ball a lot, getting a lot of interceptions, I don't see really anywhere where they are match up with the Chiefs or on their level. So Chiefs defense, I got to expect, is going to go in there and give the Jaguars a tough time, right?
Yeah, John C., I believe that was the least amount of penalties that the Chiefs have had this season. And more importantly, Jawan Taylor, I don't believe got any penalties in that game.
He didn't get called against him anyway.
Right.
There was a couple plays where I thought like he left early, but.
Yeah, so I agree with you. The Trevor Lawrence contract right now kind of reminds me of like the Kyler Murray contract, where it's like, man, you paid like that guy like a lot of money, and
right,
he's just kind of a middle talent. And maybe talent's not the right word, but middle performer at his position in the league. And so now you've saddled your franchise with a huge contract. And so, like if we can control ETN in that run game, like I feel really good about our odds here. And I feel like the Chiefs just are like a tier above, right, where the Jags are. And I like the Jaguars as a franchise, so it's nothing against them, but I just like that, like where the Chiefs are versus like in their story arc versus the Jags. Like I just think that if KC plays their game, like they'll have to make mistakes, right, for the Jaguars to beat them. Like the path for the Jaguars to win is, like you said, turnovers and drop balls and running backwards towards your own end zone, like when like the quarterback's trying to throw you the ball, like that sort of stuff happening is how we can lose to the Jags. But if we play like a buttoned up game, like they're just not going to come out, I think, and just beat us hands down when we're playing, how we can. So
yeah, look, unless the Jaguars are plus 2 or 3 in the turnover margin in this game, I don't think they really have a realistic shot of winning. They've had they've had a good start, right? I mean, I don't know that anybody even predicted them to be 3-1. I think they're tied with the Colts right now at the top of that division at 3-1. The Colts are an interesting story. Chiefs play them this year. How long, Indiana Jones is the new nickname, which is a great nickname, man, for a football player. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. But yeah, look, man, take care of the ball. Don't have silly mistakes like you said with the penalties. Don't get a touchdown taken off the board because of a false start or a hold or something like that. Execute and take care of the ball. Just do what they've been doing these last few weeks. And I think Chiefs are going to be all right against Jacksonville Jaguars. I was really wanting to get to that game this year, Monday night game. Man, you wouldn't have to worry about it being hot, but I don't think that's going to happen. So Chiefs offense, how much of a carryover do you expect against the Jaguars after?
I expect him to keep pushing the ball down the field with Worthy and Thornton. I think that you're going to see them try to continue that trend. They want to impose that will on the other team, and I think that that's going to be a big part of the game plan. So you're going to like what I saw was Patrick, like he's not just throwing if the guy's like wide open down the field, right? He's got enough trust in these guys. I think that he'll give them a chance in man-to-man coverage. And so I feel like that, like you're just going to see that continue in this game. You're going to see, I think I saw a chart where Patrick Mahomes has the least amount of checkdowns this season out of any quarterback. And it's like by a large margin. So they're obviously, looking at aggressively pushing the ball down the field.
I think some of that too has been he's like, screw it, I'll just take off and run with this myself, especially in those first few games.
Yeah,
where
for sure.
He was leading the team in rushing, but it was an emphasis in training camp, and they wanted to do it. And then you lose Xavier Worthy on the third play of the first game, and Rashee Rice is out 6 weeks. with the suspension, and so they've kind of just talked about it last year, right? That was the plan, and they kind of had to I don't necessarily want to say scrap that plan, but
Right.
definitely had to modify it and kind of put it back on the shelf. And so they're breaking it out here. Trevor Lawrence will throw it out of the end zone. Yeah, I really thought he was going to be better. He was really good at Clemson, man. I really kind of expected more out of that dude, and him to have a better start to his career. It's also on the Jaguars, which again doesn't help. they're
Yeah.
picked
Was
up
he on his third head coach?
I don't know.
Urban Meyer?
Yeah, Urban Meyer would have been his first coach, and then hell, I can't even think.
Doug
of
Peterson?
That's right, Doug Peterson, old Chiefs
Yeah.
offensive coordinator, Eagles coach. Yeah, he's on his third coach. Is he on his third coach though? Because he hasn't really been as advertised or been as good as expected, right? I mean, we've had this conversation before,
Yeah.
man. I'm always think it's more players than coaching anyway. But I think
Doug
part of the
Peterson
reason-
won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He also got ran out of Philadelphia after that, and I don't know if you hear things about maybe he creates issues inside the organization, right? Is maybe he's a good coach and knows offense, but it may be difficult to deal with or causes problems for the team.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help being on your third coach in your career. And I know Patrick
you definitely didn't win a shitload of games, and that's why you're on your third head coach, right? So I get what you're saying.
Right. I mean, some of that is chicken or the egg kind of deal, but
yeah. Look, I all the uber hyped, you the term generational talent gets thrown around a lot these days, and he had that attached to him, and I just most of the time that doesn't pan out into
right.
You know what I mean? It's just very rare that you see those guys come and actually perform at that level. So I'm not that surprised based on that. I just think that it's a tough league, man, and it's really hard to look at somebody in college and say that's definitely going to translate.
Oh, for sure.
And to be honest, a lot of these guys have it can be almost detrimental to them coming into the league because everything's been easy based on who you've been playing, right? Because the competition level is not the same, and the work ethic and some of the things that you do may not be there just because it was easier before, right? And so I'm not saying that that's Trevor Lawrence's specific case, but I wasn't super surprised when he struggled coming into the league.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. But also, a lot of times you're coming into a crappy team, right? A crappy organization. If you're one of these top picks, number one overall guy or the first quarterback taken in the first 3 or 5 picks, man, you're going to a team that's picking that early for a reason. And, Patrick, I mean, I'm not saying that his success was based upon the situation he came into, because I think it's pretty obvious that guy would have been really good no matter where he was at. But he came into a team that was good, that traded up to get him, right, and was a perennial playoff contender, and had a Hall of Fame coach. So definitely was a good situation for him. When you match that with the talent, right, I think that's where you see one of the greatest starts to an NFL career by a quarterback in the history of the league, as opposed to a guy who comes in, wins you a game, maybe win you a division or two here or there, got you in a wild card round, but ultimately lost, right, didn't maybe live up quite to the hype. I mean, the Browns, I think I heard on the radio today that they're on their 40th starting quarterback in the last 15 years or something. It was insane, the number, man. So I mean, some of it is just it's really hard, like you said, to take that next step up and be the man. And a lot of it too is if you are the man in college and you're one of these generational talents, you're going to a team that is not a generational team or organization. So dynasties ain't picking number 3 in the first round very often. So score prediction, Jaguars game. I mean, any other matchups or you want to get to before that? I think it's pretty straightforward. The Chiefs are the better team and should win this game. And as long as they take care of the ball, right? I mean, they're going to win the game.
Yeah. No, look, I think the Chiefs can win this game. I'm going to go 27-17.
You're not going to pick 30 after the outburst.
Nope. I'm not going to pick 30. I'm going to pick 27.
Okay. 27 to what? Sorry, you're still
27-17.
27-17, 10-point win. I'm going to go 33-21.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs, and 21 to me is almost like that's like going to be a garbage time touchdown. I think the Chiefs defense, man, should be able to shut down the Jaguars. Chiefs 42-20. Big Doug,
Let's go.
feeling it now. That's sign up for that right now. Obviously, Chiefs have gotten back to 2-2. Right, they're back to the 500 mark. They're looking to get above 500. The Chargers chargered in New York and lost a game to a winless team with a rookie quarterback.
First start.
Not that, listen, that's happened to the Chiefs before in the past. So, not in the Patrick Mahomes era, but one game, I guess you could say 1.5 games back. Because everybody keeps saying, well, the Chargers have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. Well, yeah, but they're going to play another game, and that game is going to be at home later in the year when the Chiefs are at full strength. So, this idea, like people can say, well, they're 2 games behind the Chargers because the Chargers have the tiebreaker. Well, they got another game against them at home. So, I'll say maybe 1.5 games back. But after the 3-0 start and the Chiefs starting off 0-2 or 1-2, and the Chargers are the team to beat in the AFC West, and they look like one of the best teams in football, and Justin Herbert has it all figured out, and Jim Harbaugh is master coach, and look out, they did what they always do, and they lose a game they shouldn't lose because Justin Herbert throws a couple of interceptions and they struggle, and next thing you know, they're sitting there with the Chiefs basically a game or a game and a half behind them in the standings. How are you feeling about the Chiefs' position in the AFC and the AFC West right now after getting back to 500 and the Chargers stumbling?
Look, I think the 1 seed is still going to be difficult, right? Based on the Bills
and their schedule.
The Bills, I think that the teams they played have been a combined 1-13.
Dude, it's really insane how bad their schedule is.
Yeah, or 1-12, or I don't know, whatever it is. But so I think that's going to be tough, right? Especially with they don't have any competition in their division. So, but that said, who else do you think would challenge the Chiefs for maybe being a 2 seed? And I don't think there's a lot out there at this point where you're like, yeah, that team or that team, right? And the Chargers were looking like maybe they could be that team, but you don't, with the chance to keep that lead, you don't drop a game to the Giants starting, their quarterback for their very first, if you're going to have that kind of season. To me, that's, they were like a third and long away from really the Chiefs being able to push and maybe win that game. With the Chiefs having their top 2 wide receivers out. So I feel good about our chances in the AFC West. I think that if the Chiefs can hang around, I think the pressure will build, and I think it's going to get to Herbert in that team. I think that he's a guy that when things are going well, he plays really well, but once things start to crack, I think he totally, loses it. I think that's just kind of what you see with him a lot. And, just a guy just folds, man. And, and it's funny because it's like a divisional opponent to see it happen. But, I was laughing when I saw the Giants win that game. I don't know. What you thought, but I just, as happy as I was because it helped the Chiefs, I also was laughing just because it was pretty damn funny just to see him blow it to the Giants, right? They like didn't blow it to like a good team. So I feel really good about our standings in the AFC. I mean, I think that 1 seed's not off the table, but 2 seed, based on how things are looking, if we can get through this part of our schedule, I think we're going to be set up pretty good to make a run here for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Chiefs have already put the pressure on the Chargers by beating the Ravens, who I get it, had a banged up defense and are 1-3 now, but there was people that were saying that the Ravens were above the Chiefs level and that, it was the Bills and the Ravens in the AFC, and Chiefs took care of business and smacked them around and beat their ass and got back to 500. And I mean, when you're talking about like positioning in the AFC, right? I mean, the Bills, they're going to win that division. The Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns in that division. Looking like the Steelers might have the inside track now, especially if Lamar Jackson misses some games here and the Ravens fall to 1-4 or 1-5. That's going to be extremely difficult to come back from and win the division at that point. So the AFC South, whoever wins that division, the Colts have been a nice story. And like we said earlier, Daniel Jones is having a little bit of a renaissance in his career here so far, but a lot of their game too has been, they've kind of played a softer schedule and they've been running the ball really well with Jonathan Taylor. Don't know that that can hold up for an entire season. So yeah, I mean, like the Chiefs and the Chargers are right there, and that's what separated the Chiefs and the Chargers the last several years in this division has been like the Chargers losing a couple of those games, right? They lose the games they should lose when they play the better teams. Usually the Chiefs, there's 1 or 2 of those losses, but they also go out and lose to a Giants team that hasn't won a game all year. And they have a couple games like that, and that's why they end up being 10-7 or 11-6 instead of being like 13 or 14 win team and taking home the division crown. So the pressure's on, man. And right now, when I look at this AFC, the Bills, they're 4-0. Not going to sit here and say that that's a product of their schedule, but it's definitely been a lot easier for them than it's been for the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's been an easier road for sure.
Right. Chiefs playing the Eagles and missing starting wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I think the Chiefs have the best defense in the AFC. And with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and starting to get healthy, man,
I don't think it's necessarily close either.
That's like an ace in the hole that the Chiefs got, right? That's like having an ace up your sleeve if you're a poker player.
Right.
The ability to have a defense that's going to come out here and be able to hold. Look, the Chargers defense right now, I want to say, is like technically ahead of the Chiefs as far as points per game, but it's by like a point or a point and a half per game. They have not played offenses like the Chiefs have played. The Chiefs, they've played some of the better, like we said earlier in the show, and you brought up the Ravens were the number 1 scoring offense in the NFL. The Eagles, no slouches there. They score points, right, with Saquon Barkley and that team's ability. Offensively, they got weapons. I know A.J. Brown's having a slow start to his season, but
went up against that juggernaut Russell Wilson.
Right. So look, man, like the Chiefs, they've played some better competition as far as offenses go, and the Bills' defense has not been great. I mean, they got lit up by the Ravens, right? The same Ravens offense the Chiefs have shut down, scored 40, I want to say, on the Bills in week 1, and Bills had another game where I want to say they played a team that scored. It was like, what team was that? Well, so they gave up 20-something to like a mediocre. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what that game was, but Chiefs defense looked like the best in the AFC, and with the offense getting healthy and getting Rashee Rice back, man, they're gonna be right there, back in the thick of it. And I think when you see the records here, maybe in a few weeks, and you get Rashee Rice back, and you're halfway through the season, I think you're going to see it's the Chiefs and the Bills, man, like separating and the cream rising to the top. And Maybe the Bills can hang on. That's part of the reason they haven't been able to get the 1 seed, though, with Josh Allen in the Josh Allen era, was because they lose a game, right, that they don't have any business losing. And so then they're a game behind the Chiefs. 0-2 start, though, like you said, is going to be tough to dig out. That's a pretty steep hill to climb. But I really like where the Chiefs are sitting, man.
Yeah, so the Bills gave up 40 to the Ravens and 21 to the Dolphins, 19 to New Orleans, and then 10 to the Jets. But, I mean, you're talking about...
I was thinking the Dolphins scored. I was thinking the Dolphins put up 27 or 28. So I was a little bit off in that game. But,
so it's like 2 and 14 is... I mean, that's the so, like, I'm not putting a lot of faith into that. Like, when they played a good offense, they gave up a lot of points.
Right.
So, and I said this last week, man, like it is way easier to, overcome like offensive problems if you have a really good defense than the other way around. Like when you just can't, when you're playing a good team and like if you can score a lot, but man, your defense just keeps giving up points, like it like really like wears on the team over the course of the season.
Right.
So I feel really good about where we're at. I mean, it just lowers the bar for winning, right? When your defenses can go out there and really like put the clamps down on a team. And I mean, really like just kind of you saw them just like steal the Ravens' will in that game, right? Like the Ravens, they were just dead at the end of that game. They were dead on arrival. Like they were just like, I just want this to be over. And if the defense can like continue that trajectory, man, like it's going to be a good year for Chiefs fans.
Yeah, they beat him up, man. Not only did they beat him on the scoreboard, but they beat him up on the field, and the Ravens were dropping like flies, man. And the Chiefs were playing physical, and they punched them often and early and often in that game. You bring up the beatdown, right? And the Ravens almost kind of like waving the white flag. I don't think John Harbaugh, I don't think he wanted to get anybody else hurt, right? Was part of like why they didn't try to make they would have had to get like 2 onside kicks and 2 2-point conversions or something like that. So it was really unrealistic anyway after the long kind of like garbage time touchdown that they scored there late in the game. But Lamar Jackson, a lot of people said the Chiefs made him quit, tapped out of that game. I don't know that he's got the hamstring injury. They're saying maybe he could miss a couple of weeks here. If he misses a couple of weeks, that obviously changes things. But I don't know that he's going to miss any games. They're 1-3. They need that guy out there. He did not look hurt when he got up from the play that he supposedly got hurt on. I've said on this show for a few weeks, he doesn't look the same this year. Mm-hmm. To me, he does not look as like quick or elusive. I almost seem to struggle to find the right word, but he just hasn't looked like himself. But he hasn't been on the injury report, and there hasn't been anything from the team, right, that says that he's been dealing with an injury or anything like that this year. Did he? I don't know. His age something maybe catching up to him? If I don't know. He's whatever. We looked it up the other day. He's about a year younger than Patrick Mahomes, right?
Right. He's like 28, 29 right now, right?
I mean, yeah. Do you think he was hurt? The body language and the vibe on the sidelines didn't look like a guy that was hurt. He never went into the tent.
Yeah, I mean, you said last week he's either lost a step or, is he maybe not 100% right? Maybe something that's not on the report. Maybe he's not, getting treatment for it or whatever. Yeah, look, I will say that the optics were bad, right? That's like the political term. The optics of that were not good based on where the game was and how it went. To be honest, I don't feel that comfortable like sitting there and saying that like out into the world. I just don't like. I think it's a tough game, and I think these guys like put their bodies on the line. So I would say that I'm not saying he's not hurt, but I will say that I don't think Patrick Mahomes would have come out of that game.
No.
Let's put it that way, right? Like, I don't think based on what I saw from how Lamar got up and walked off the field and the fact that, like, they they didn't even look like they were like doing that much work on it. I would like bet my bank account that Patrick would have finished the game regardless of the score. And so,
I mean, we
so
see Patrick. We see
yeah.
Patrick finish games where he couldn't even walk. Really,
Yeah, he wanted to come in after like he dislocated his kneecap, right? Like he was like, they popped it back in place, and he's like, "So I'm going back out, right?" And they're like, "No, you're going for X-rays and MRIs, dude." So I mean, so I'm not going to say that he wasn't hurt, but I will say that like I think that like the score and the way that the game was going had an impact on the fact that he didn't come back in. So, and we'll see how it goes. And I mean, if he's out this week, it was definitely an injury. Like I don't think the Ravens are going to be like,
you don't think they'd sit him out to save face?
To save face? Like they're not going to, I don't think they're going to do that for him. And I mean, that would be pretty wild. Like, yeah, it's okay. We'll just go and, put Cooper Rush in for another.
We were having a little fun with it on social media on X. If you're not following us, you could check us out there and Facebook and Instagram at Chiefs Kingdom Live. That Lamar Jackson was questionable to return with a bruised ego.
I mean, I laughed pretty hard when I saw that. So
yeah, it was
a good one, Scotty.
Yeah, look, man, it was like I think it was a combination of things. I think he's been dealing with somewhat of an injury, right? And it was in fun, and there was Ravens fans flipping us the bird on X and replying to the post. And listen, like they're one of the. I mean, maybe they're not one of the Chiefs' rivals because they can't really beat the Chiefs, but they're supposed like one of the Chiefs' rivals or one of the AFC contenders.
Yeah, they're the blue bloods of the AFC for the last several years, right?
Right. And so this is a little fun, right? Like poke fun at each other. That's what we do. It's like Bills fans and Chiefs fans do it too. Everybody does it. It's like we're living rent free in your head. And you're talking about us, and you're this and that, and you win Super Bowls. It's fun to poke fun. Right. It's fun to poke fun at your rivals and your competition and the team.
Yeah. And
you're going back and forth.
Yeah.
Fun. But
I
think so. I think he probably was a little banged up, maybe has been a little banged up. But the fact that they were getting their ass kicked and their defense wasn't going to be able to get any stops, I think definitely factored into their decision to pull him out of the game, right? Like, listen, like we got a non-0% chance of winning this game. We've already lost 3 or 4 guys to injury. Just get them out, and we'll lick our wounds, and we'll try to regroup and come back and next week. So
yeah, and it'd be funny if they were trying to do him a favor by skirting the, by skirting the injury report or whatever, and then like it turns out that it just makes it look like he quit when he was actually playing hurt the whole time. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, it was great to see the Chiefs play a team that is everybody thought was like a Super Bowl contender, and then like to hear like people saying that they needed to fire their entire coaching staff after the game was over. Right. I mean, that like we hadn't had that for a while as Chiefs fans, and that was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Blow it up.
Right. Yeah, the Chiefs are back when they've got pundits saying a week after they were saying the Ravens were on a different level than the Chiefs and they were better than the Chiefs, now saying that they need to fire their coach and they need to get rid of veteran players and blow up this roster and give Lamar Jackson a real chance and blah, 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 even though, like you said a couple weeks ago, they were one of the Super Bowl favorites.
Yeah.
A lot can change in a couple weeks, right? I mean, the Ravens were sitting there looking at taking down the Bills to open the season and kind of cement themselves as the favorite, at least nationally, as like the Super Bowl favorite in the AFC to 1-3, and the Chiefs were 0-2, and the dynasty's over, and Patrick Mahomes is overrated, and Andy Reid has lost it when it comes to the play calling and is stale, and Travis Kelce's washed, and now all of a sudden they're a game behind the Chargers for the division and looking like they got the best defense in the conference and are going to be a team that's going to be challenging.
I still think that they could, benefit from bringing in some fresh offensive perspective, personally. But
I don't know. We've had that conversation. The offense is Andy Reid's, man. Like, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't think Matt Nagy won Coach of the Year.
I'm not talking about just Matt Nagy.
Mitch
The thing
Trubisky.
Andy Reid could bring somebody in and listen to him. That's all.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe get some consultants.
But
for that.
I mean, if we're scoring 37 points a game, I'll be okay with it.
Right.
So.
I think the moral of the story is don't jump to conclusions after 1 or 2 games, either way, good or bad, man. Because like the Ravens and Chiefs have completely flip-flopped places in the national conversation in the last 2 weeks, right?
Right.
I know that I'm telling you, the Chargers are looking over their shoulder when they lost that game to the Giants, and they watched the Chiefs
a lot of pressure now.
Whip the shit out of the Ravens. They're feeling some heat now, man. I don't care. They can talk about it all they want, and they can try to exude all the confidence that they want, but they got to be thinking, here they come, right? Chiefs are coming, and it's
who the Chargers play this week?
Chargers play the
Commanders.
That's right. Jay Daniels is going to be back for that game. He's been hurt.
I don't know. Washington is getting 3 points.
Washington's favored in that game?
No, they're getting 3 points.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you said.
Sorry. Yeah, I probably didn't say it clear.
No, you did. I got it backwards in my head.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
I want to see if Jaden Daniels is going to play or not.
Yeah. Let me see.
He didn't play last week, right? They played with what's his face, Marcus Mariota, who's amazingly still around. The touchdown pass to himself guy, and the Chiefs.
One day ago, he's planning to play Sunday, is what it says. So, let's go.
I think the Commanders are going to win that game if Jaden Daniels plays, man.
Kevin's got her back here, Washington, and he's saying that QB's back. I should have looked at the chat, Kevin. I'm sorry, man.
Trust Kevin, man. Kevin knows what's up.
Trying to Google shit. You already told us.
Kevin down there, the AI, man, he knows. He's hooked in. He knows what's going on. He knows the stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Any other NFL storylines or any questions or anything in the chat we haven't gotten to? Anything we missed? I think we pretty much covered just about everything.
It's just fun to score points, man. It's just fun to score points.
Back-to-back wins, too, by the Chiefs that were multi-score wins, comfortable wins, which after last year's were definitely refreshing, right? Patrick Mahomes' first 4 touchdown game since 2023. Basically 2 years since he had a game where he threw 4 touchdown passes. So continue to take care of the ball. Chiefs' offense is looking like it's coming to life, man. The defense is looking, like we said, one of the best, if not the best in the AFC. What a difference a couple weeks makes, man. We're feeling a lot better. And just why you guys keep the faith, right? And Spags we trust, and Patrick we trust. Just gotta, it looks ugly sometimes, and it's, starting 0-2. No one wants to start 0-2. You don't sign up for that before the start of the season, but just gotta give things some time, man. A couple weeks can make a world of difference. So, we'll be back next week, hopefully talking about a Chiefs win over the Jacksonville Jaguars in the Sunshine State, getting back above 500. And if Commanders can take care of business, we'll be looking at the Chiefs tied after week 5 atop the AFC West standings. Really appreciate everybody watching tonight. It was good seeing everybody in the chat. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, hopefully talking about a Chiefs win, getting back above 500. Until then, let's go Chiefs.
All right, let's go Chiefs.